Hello, everyone. Good evening, brothers and sisters, kings and queens. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is the topic of exercise. So, hello, everyone. I want to make sure that I can see your comments. Say hello if you're watching me live. And how was your day? How was your evening? We took a walk tonight. I haven't been walking as much lately. I've been doing my cardio in the morning. Yay! I see we're going great. I've been doing my cardio earlier in the day, and so our evening walks have been cut down. So tonight we was able to take a walk with my husband and walk the dog. So that was amazing. Cardiovascular exercise is one of the topics we're going to be talking about tonight. Walking, but there are lots of cardiovascular exercises that we can participate in. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So we're talking about exercise as a weight loss tool and how we just want to take that off the table. The primary reason that we exercise is not weight loss. And if you are thinking, I'm going to exercise to lose weight, then I want you to think again. It's really just not the best tool in the arsenal of things we can do to lose weight. It's definitely a tool, but it's not the best tool. I was thinking of ways to kind of describe how inefficient inefficient that exercise is for weight loss. And I was thinking about like how, if you, for my gardeners out there, if you think about like pruning shears, right? Like pruning shears, they have a sharp edge, and they can cut things. They can cut things. We use them for fine tuning of like shrubs or edging, things like that. You could cut your grass with pruning shears, right? Like that's possible. You could do that, but pruning shears are not the best tool to cut grass. And if we think about exercise, it's kind of the same thing. The best tool to lose weight is to change the things that you eat, not to exercise. It's possible to exercise and lose weight, but it's not the best tool. It's not the most efficient way to lose weight. It's not the most productive. It doesn't last the longest. It's just not the best way. And it's not what exercise is intended for. The design of exercise is to train your body. It's not to create to create weight loss. It's just not what it's designed for. It's not the primary tool or the primary outcome that we want for exercise. So we're going to talk about what exercise is actually for, so you can think about that when you are choosing the kinds of exercise that you do, or when you're trying to stay motivated to exercise, or maybe when you're even thinking about starting exercise. Why is exercise even important? Why do we do exercise at all? And if you are someone who is beginning that journey, it's important to know about those things. But if you're already exercising and maybe trying to make choices about how much to exercise, or what kinds of exercise, this is really the show for you. So, again, I want to say thank you for joining me. This is the Kingdom Health Club. And I want to remind you to subscribe, because we'll be back here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about how to live a healthy life to advance the kingdom of God. So let's talk about the three kinds of exercise I want to talk about tonight. So when I talk about exercise, I put it into three categories. There's cardiovascular exercise, things that are going to help build your heart. Well, we'll talk about what they'll do. Cardiovascular exercise, strength training or resistance training, and mobility, flexibility, stretching. So those are the three categories that I'm always going to refer to when we think about exercise. We're going to start with cardiovascular exercise, then we'll go through the rest. There are some benefits that are common to all of them. There are benefits that we're going to talk about that are cardiovascular exercise will give you that benefit, strength training will give you that benefit, and stretching will give you that benefit. But at the same time, the each one has either even heightened focus or like they're stars in certain areas. So we're going to highlight those too. So I think the most common when we say exercise, most people probably have a picture in their mind of cardiovascular exercise. And I know for me, when I started on my weight loss journey, when I started on my journey to being healthy, I thought that running was the thing to do. Like, if you are healthy, if you exercise, then you run. And I started this journey of trying to be able to run. I didn't really run, and like I probably ran when I was little. But I remember in seventh grade trying out for track and getting shin splints. And I was like, no, that's it for me. And that was the end of running for me. The only other times I would run was when I played volleyball, and during conditioning, we had to run. And so I think we had to run a mile during those first weeks of getting back to the season. And that was the only other time I ran. So I only ran because I had to. So when I started working out, I thought, I should run a 5K. And I will say this: running a 5K, if you want to, is a great motivation. Having a goal that you set, 5K is a great goal. Having that goal helps you stay focused, helps you stay motivated. So, that could be a great thing. For me, it was setting that goal, having a goal, something that I knew I was training for specifically in that 5K was really helpful. What I got into was my body really didn't like running, right? Like my knees didn't like running. It was primarily my knees, but my hips kind of didn't really love it. And so ultimately, running is not for me. Now, I know plenty of runners who will say, it was your running form, it was this, it was that, you should have did this, you should have did that. Yep, that all may be true. But when it comes down to it, there are other ways to get cardiovascular exercise that do not include running. So if you want to run, great. But if you don't want to run, there are other things you can do. Let's talk about the benefits of that cardio, though. What are the benefits of cardiovascular exercise? And I think the first one is probably pretty obvious, but it improves your heart health, your cardiovascular health, and that means your heart, your vascular system overall. Cardio is going to help in that area specifically. Like I said, there's overlap in all of these, but cardio is going to be the star when we talk about heart health and your cardiovascular health. The next thing that cardio does is actually can help lower your blood pressure. And when I'm referring to these things, these are things that have been tested and studied, and that it has been proven there's a benefit. There can be anecdotal benefits to all of these things, but when I'm sharing tonight, I'm talking about things that have actually been studied, and you can look up the studies and see the research that is going to document that once, this group started cardio and this group didn't, and we tested them against each other, that the group that started cardio did better than the group that didn't. That's when we talk about research. That's what we're speaking about specifically. So cardiovascular health and lowering your blood pressure are things that specifically that cardio has been proven to have a benefit. So we're going to talk about all of the benefits that come from all exercise, but those are two highlights that cardiovascular exercise is going to give you. Let's talk about examples of cardio. I talked about running. Walking is also cardio. So you could run, you could walk, you could bike, you could swim. Things that get your heart rate up to a certain level, which will be cardio for you, which is, that's different for everybody, is going to be considered cardiovascular exercise. It gets your heart rate up and it keeps your heart rate up into a range that is going to be considered cardio. I know when I first started lifting weights, which is actually my favorite form of exercise, that we used to joke that strength training is cardio because if you're working hard enough, you're going to get your heart rate up, which is true. But there is a specific goal and intention behind strength training and cardio, and they're different. They're not the same. So yes, when you're lifting weight, you'll get your heart rate up, but it's not going to stay up the way your heart rate does during cardio. So when you're lifting heavy things, your heart rate goes up and then your heart rate recovers. At least that's the way it should be happening. So it's not the same as cardio where your heart rate gets up to a certain level and stays up for the duration of the exercise period, for the time that you are that you have determined that you want to be exercising. So that's the difference between cardio, getting your heart rate up, and strength training, getting your heart rate up. Let's talk about some of the benefits of strength training specifically, though, right? So obviously, well, maybe not so obvious, but when we are engaging in strength training, we want to be increasing our strength. And so that means we are also increasing our muscle mass. I know a lot of women who, when you say that, they're like, oh, I don't want to get big. I don't want to get bulky, which is actually pretty hard to do. You have to be training very specifically and eating very specifically to get bulky. But gaining muscle mass just means turning fat into muscle or building muscle where there is none there. It's hard to build muscle unless you're a teenage boy. And that's really like, teenage boys have a lot of testosterone. That is actually makes it easier for them to build muscle. So building muscle is not as easy as I think maybe we think it is, but muscle plays a very important role in keeping our bodies healthy and strong. If we don't have enough muscle, we can't move in the way that we want to. We can't recover in the way that we want to. We don't burn fat in the way that we're designed to if we don't have enough muscle on our body. So muscle is really important. So strength training is going to help you, or is going to actually create and build muscle. It's going to help create it and it's going to help maintain it. You can't build muscle and then stop strength training and think that the muscle will remain. You have to build muscle and then you have to continually increase the intensity or the resistance or the force against the muscle for it to grow or for it to even stay the same. So building muscle. Also weight management. Having lean muscle mass or having muscle helps you maintain a healthy weight. So just the fact that you have muscle is going to actually burn, it keeps your metabolism higher, which helps you maintain a healthy weight. So maintaining a healthy weight is something that muscle does, and you can't have muscle unless you participate in strength training. Other things that strength training has, I've got a list here. I've got notes because I don't want to miss anything. Other things that strength training has shown, and again, this is in research and studies, is shown to help with cognitive function. So the way that we think, resistance training, strength training has been proven to actually help with that. Other things, and we're going to talk about the things that overlap, but those are specifically things that strength training has been shown to help with. When we talk about also, and I didn't even list this one, but I just was, as I was thinking about it, there's a great growing body of research that also shows that muscle or resistance training helps with the word of those Well, I want to say diabetes, but it's not diabetes specifically. It is insulin resistance. I just want to say diabetes so badly. Insulin resistance, having muscle or building muscle so that strength training helps with insulin resistance. So, super important. I know when I started trying to get healthy, one of my doctors suggested strength training for that specifically because I was at that time like borderline insulin resistance, and they were really concerned about that because if you know anything about that, that is in the road to diabetes, and that's why that was kind of stuck on my head for me. All right, so again, so highlights of strength training. Now we were going to talk about stretching, mobility, flexibility, all of those kinds of things, and the benefits specifically that those things have. So flexibility helps making sure you're training your flexibility, your mobility, and stretching are going to help with balance. Now, there's overlap, exercising, strength training, cardiovascular, they all help with balance, but flexibility, stretching, mobility, highlighting the benefit in the area of balance. You're really going to get more bang for your buck in the area of balance by training in mobility and flexibility. The other thing that stretching and flexibility also is going to help with is your range of motion, making sure that you keep your full range of motion or get back, recover your full range of motion. So, meaning you can fully move through, or like if you think about squatting, you can go through the full range of motion that you're just not able to go here and all the way, but you can go through a full range of motion with your joints and the levers, right? So flexibility, mobility training, those are going to help with those things. The other highlight of flexibility and mobility is just pain management. If you're stiff, if your body is stiff, it's going to be more painful. So making sure that you practice stretching, mobility, flexibility work is going to also help with pain management. Now, I want to go through all of them and just talk about the general benefit of exercise overall. And these are going to be things that strength training, cardiovascular training, and stretching and mobility, you're going to get a benefit if you exercise, all kinds of exercise. So I talked about muscle strength, muscle toning. Any kinds of exercise is going to help you get stronger. Whenever you ask your body to do something it's not currently doing, and when you start it, your body's going to get stronger. It's going to respond to that force, right? So anything you do, if you do it consistently, you're going to get a response. Your body's going to respond. So all exercise to some degree is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you faster. It's going to do whatever, to increase your mobility. That's just what exercise is. That's the definition of exercise, is training for a response in the body. So you're always going to get that. Even though you're not training flexibility specifically by running or by doing cardiovascular workouts or strength training workouts, you're going to increase your flexibility because you're moving. You're going to increase your range of motion because you're moving. You're going to get that, I will say, don't want to be too in depth with it, but like the fascia, the joints, you're going to have more mobility in your joints, and because you're moving. So there's those benefits are going to exist with any kind of movement. They're going to be better or greater with specific kinds, but you're going to get some kind of benefit in that area no matter how you move. You're going to experience a decreased risk of injury, right? Because if you are moving, your balance is going to get better. Your response time is going to get better. So that means you're not going to injure yourself as easily. So if you aren't used to moving, your response time is slower. But if you are used to moving, that you're going to have a increased response time, which is going to cut your injury time down. Now, when I said that, I was thinking of specifically, I have certain clients who are like injury prone. It's going to get better. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. So I will say that. Exercise helps your mood. Exercise is a great tool for mood management. So, sometimes I'm not feeling great or feeling down, you can take a walk. It can really help manage your mood. I always have my when my boys get to a certain age, I'm always like, you need to go lift weights. It helps manage your mood. It helps help you process emotions through your body. So exercise is great for mood management. It helps you sleep. Exercising can help you sleep because it gets your blood pumping, which helps circulation. It's going to also help you sleep. Sometimes people will say, if it will help you get tired and then you'll sleep. That might be the case, but what we actually do know is that your blood gets pumping, so you experience a better circulation, and having good circulation is going to help you rest. I know that some people like to exercise to get themselves tired, so that'll help them sleep. For me, exercising actually gives me energy, so I make myself sleepy. I would never exercise late at night because then I'd be awake. So for me, it's like a 2-hour window when I exercise. I don't want to exercise unless it's about 2 hours from when I'm going to go to sleep. So, but I think that probably is different for different people. But for me, I know like 2 hours. Like if I want to go to sleep at 10, then I need to make sure I cut it off before 2 hours before that. So I personally like to exercise first thing in the morning, and it helps me increase my energy. But like I said, the research is that exercise helps you sleep. So other things, improve posture. So exercise can improve your posture, and that again goes to strength. If you have stronger muscles, you can engage your core, you can pull back your shoulders, you have a better range of motion. So your posture is going to be improved from exercising, from the muscles being stronger that hold your body in alignment, that create good posture. So, and then all of these things together, it's makes for a better life. If you're stronger in your movement in your everyday life, it's just enhanced overall because you're stronger, because you have more flexibility, because you have a better response time, because you have a greater cognitive health. All of these things are what exercise is actually intended for. Our bodies are created and designed to move. So if we exercise them, if we train our bodies to be better in those things, then you're going to get that outcome. That's what exercise does. So I've talked before about how movement and exercise are not the same thing, because exercise has a outcome, it has a intention, there's a purpose to exercise. Movement doesn't have to have purpose. Movement doesn't have to have a outcome or an intention. It can, and it often does. But when we talk about exercise specifically, it has a goal. There's a purpose to exercise. And that's why I always try to make sure that when I'm exercising, I know what my goal is, I know what my outcome is intended to be, because I like it to be smart. Like I actually like to exercise, but I don't really want to do it for no reason at all. Like I'm not just trying to run just to be running. Like I'm running because I want to improve my cardiovascular health. I'm cycling because I want it to be fun, but I also want it to serve its purpose. I'm just not going to be doing that for no reason. If I am, then it is in the movement camp. And I like that would be like going out with my kids and riding bikes. That's movement. That there's no training purpose there. Gardening, like when you garden, yeah, it's probably considered exercise. Like you might be shoveling and, doing things that are, load bearing, like baling hay and all types of stuff. So there could be a exercise benefit to that. But if I'm gardening, I'm not doing it for, to build my biceps, to, make sure that I'm training my back so I have good posture. It's because um, I'm moving and I'm doing something I enjoy. I'm not gardening to build strength, right? So because if you were, then you would have to make sure that you get your biceps and your triceps and your back, that you, like there's a intention for exercise. Movement and exercise are not the same thing. And if you are thinking, I'm going to move and get the benefits from exercise, that's not always going to be true. Because like I said, if you are wanting to improve your strength, your cardiovascular health, your mobility, then you need to be training specifically for those outcomes. That is what exercise is. Exercise and movement are not the same thing. They can overlap, they can sometimes merge and be the same thing, but they have two different definitions. And to understand that really helps you with your outcome, because if you think your exercise, or if you think if you think I'm going to get this benefit of exercise by movement, and then you don't get the benefit, that's really disappointing. And I feel like that's where we get into trouble. And it's the same thing, and it goes back to the start of this, the same thing with weight loss. If you are setting out, I want to lose weight, I'm going to exercise, and then you don't get that weight loss goal, it's not because you weren't successful with the exercise. It's because you chose a tool that's not the best tool for weight loss. You put all your energy into this tool of exercise, where if you really wanted to lose weight, there was something else you could have done instead that would have been better at getting you that weight loss goal. So when we talk about exercise, I feel like it's super important to understand what is the goal of exercise, what is your goal for exercise specifically, and choose the exercises that are going to help you get to that goal. That's what we want to do. We want to think about, what do we want? How can I train to get what I want? You don't want to just be training willy-nilly. You want to know what your goal is, and you want to train for your goal, because that's how we achieve them. If we're not clear on what we want or what we're going after, and we just start something, then we're not going to know when we hit that target. We want to be really clear about, what is the goal of my exercise? And then you get a program that's designed to help you hit your goal. And that's why there's personal trainers, that's why there's coaches, because we're going to be the ones to say, okay, if this is your goal, then these are the ways that you can train to get that outcome. And that could be, working with somebody one-on-one, or somebody just pointing you in the right direction, right? So I talked about, different kinds of cardio. We talked about running and walking and swimming. The ways to build strength, or strength training, they're more specific. Like, we have to have a load to build strength. So that's like barbells, dumbbells, your own body weight, which could be challenging for some of us. If your body weight is really high, it's going to be hard for you to do body weight exercises to build your body, because it's a lot of weight. I know, like pull-ups, like that's hard work, right? So you have to have a certain amount of strength to pull your body up. But those would be strength training exercises that would be what you need. You need a load to build strength. And then mobility and stretching. That would be things like yoga, Tai Chi can help you stretch. There are specific exercises that go in each of those categories. And I just wanted to go over them really quickly to make sure that we were really clear on that. This 30 minutes has really flown by. So Obviously, exercise is something that I could talk about a lot, and it's really important. But I wanted to start this and give us those three categories to talk about exercise so you know what those are, you know what the benefits, we talked about some of the benefits, that's not even all of the benefits, some of the benefits of exercise, and just understanding that exercise is not the most effective tool in your weight loss arsenal, that exercise has a different purpose. You can exercise and lose weight, it's possible, but it's not the most effective way to lose weight. Like I said at the beginning, it's like taking pruning shears to a lawn full of grass. It could help, it can work, but it's not the most effective tool. So that's it for our show. Make sure you subscribe. I'm so excited to be continuing the series of helping you be healthy and strong so you can achieve your purpose, so you can advance the kingdom of God. My name is Teresa Horn, and this is the Kingdom Health Club. We'll see you back here next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next week.